are live. We are live. We are live. We are proud of you. Said we are proud of you. Just think about that.
Pretty good.
Was it pretty good?
If I want to type in,
I gotta share all these.
Back. Like,
Oh,
how
a
would
lot
I?
of A's.
Okay.
Yeah. Back. Like that. Yeah. You're kind of like Baker. You're like Sam Ellinger, the Texas guy. I did it too. Let's see. Post. I'll take this. Hi, everybody. Patrick Kimmery. Yo.
Patrick Kimmery.
All right. Boom. Paste. Boom. Ow, it hurt my knee. Let's see. Got to go check this. You're doing the we're back thing? We're back. Hey, everybody. We're just kind of... We're letting this kind of build up a little bit here, guys. We're on time. Actually, we're early today. We got Paulie O'Neill with us.
Paulie.
What's up, Paulie? Paulie O'Neill. Patrick Kimmery, what's up? Paul O'Neill, what's up? Ellen Gilmore. What's up? What's up
Gilmore?
I wonder if there's a way. Let's see more. Oh, Josh Long said, I thought the Riot Podcast was gone forever. Nope. You were wrong, Josh Long.
Got to give the people what they want.
Got to give it to them. And you know what they want?
What do they want?
Boogers. Oh, we're ready to go in 30 seconds? Did you share all my stuff?
I think I did.
Did you retweet it?
Yep.
Did you share it on Facebook?
Yep.
Good. Let's see. Who do we got to say hello to? Who else is here? Stephen Miller, what's up, dude? All right, y'all, please hit the share. Share and like. Share. Like and share. Please hit the share and the like and the share. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. Are you ready?
Little
on the
thumbs
nose.
up thing. What's that called? Like?
Yep.
Do that.
You ready, Paul? You ready, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. You don't have headphones. Oh, you do? Okay. Put them on.
Yeah, I got it.
Put them on. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
It's a good thing I didn't start because you've been hitting it with the microphone with the headphones. Here we go.
This is the Riot Podcast with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot. One is an athlete, the other an athletic supporter. Follow the guys on Twitter at Matt Moscona and at rterrio7. Here's Matt and Ryan.
We're back! Is that what you wanted to do?
Yep, that's it.
You were trying to figure out how to type that on a tweet?
I typed it on the tweet.
The we're back, like with a lot of A's.
Yep.
You know, Sam Ellinger, the Texas quarterback, said that after Texas beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. He said, hey, Longhorn Nation, we're back. Just like that. Do you think they're back?
And then what happened?
Well, they haven't played a game since. That was the last game of the season last year when they beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're back.
Oh, really? Oh, was that a little bit maybe of a precursor of what you think is to come here?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you think is to come here?
12-0. I sat in this chair about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Screamed from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
10-2.
And they went 9-3.
Screamed
and
from the
by the
mountaintops.
way, they were 2 PI calls against Auburn away from being 8-4.
And they were 1 botched PI call away from being 10-2.
Okay. But that cuts both ways.
Yeah. I like to go the other way.
Sure. Cuts both ways.
Yeah.
So it's probably about where they deserve to be.
10-2.
Yeah.
12-0. Come on. Yeah.
So you're saying 12-0.
12-0.
You think that they're going to... So, by the way, welcome back to everyone for who's listening to the podcast, if you're watching. If you're listening, we do this live, noon Central, Tuesdays on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. So you can watch live, you can participate. Shout out to everyone who is watching right now. We took a little summer break.
Yeah.
It was kind of... It was unintentional, but like you were on a vacation, and then you got back, and then like I was on vacation, and then I went to Vegas, and I had a week off, and then I was at media days, and then you had a meeting, and then it was like, well, we blinked and like a month went by, and we didn't do the podcast. So
I apologize for that.
No,
too.
it's nobody's fault. Sometimes you got to take your time.
I'm apologizing to the people. I'm apologizing to the people because it was.
In that case, you should be sorry.
Yeah, I think the momentum was there. We got to build it back up quick.
Josh Long, here watching on Facebook Live, said, I thought the Riot Podcast was gone forever.
No.
It's not gone forever.
No.
We're back. So Tuesdays noon, tell a friend, be here with us. Appreciate Ascension Fence and Deck, and also Jonna Theriot Realty. We'll be shouting them out a little bit here. And if you want your business mentioned here on the Riot Podcast, hit me up. Shoot me a DM. I'm not ashamed.
No.
Slide into my DMs.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, so you did. So we have not spoken over the summer, and over the well, you and I have, but not here. A lot of super positive hype surrounding LSU. It's interesting because it's so contrary to what happened a year ago, where everyone was poo-pooing LSU, except you and Dwayne from Thibodeau.
Correct.
And now it's the complete reverse. Like, LSU goes 9-3 last year. They win a New Year's Six game. They have a nice signing class. They get everybody back. It's like now there's a lot of positive momentum rolling along with this team. So you're all in on LSU.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the uniforms are beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it in HD, but the purple and the gold, absolutely incredible. I feel like there's a lot of great energy. You know, we hired a coach, I don't know if you knew that, like an NFL guy who is a really smart offensive dude. He's good at Madden too. And so
Joe Brady?
Yeah, and so you've got the uniforms plus a guy like Joe Brady. And then to top it all off, there's like an executive chef and 3 or 4 guys under him that are now preparing the meals for these guys.
That is kind of sweet, right?
The way I look at it, Matt, is if you were to be driving a Ferrari, right, would you urinate in your Ferrari for gas? Absolutely not.
In the gas tank?
In the tank. Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. When these kids, they eat bad, but now if you want to put high-octane fuel into your Ferrari.
Oh.
Now
I thought you were going with another digital analogy.
No, it's not digital. But now what we've done is we put the high-octane gasoline in the athlete's body, which would be the Ferrari.
Right.
So how can we lose? Like, I'm so excited. The uniforms, and then Joe, Alice's boy, and then you've got the Ferrari.
I think Alice was the maid.
Well,
her name wasn't Brady.
Well,
I know what you were trying to do.
Yeah,
I know what you were trying to do. Like, but Alice, her last name wasn't Brady. She was the maid, which is weird. Does anybody honestly have a live-in maid? Who has a live-in maid?
That's where it gets a little weird with that whole situation.
So you think Alice got frisky with Mr. Brady, and that's where Joe Brady came from?
Yep. I mean, listen, I thought everybody knew that. Alice is a grinder. No doubt about it. So anyway, there's a lot of good things to be excited about.
Apparently in a very literal way.
She's digital. Like, it's...
Would you stop saying digital?
She's either is or she's not.
I mean, like... Do you know how many people over the weekend... So on Friday, when Theriot was on my radio show, he was trying to say something is binary, like black or white.
No.
And he said digital. And it makes no sense at all. Like, it's digital. And he's convinced that this makes sense, but it totally doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it makes sense. It's digital. It's either black or it's white.
That's not digital.
Sure it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Do I need to define digital for you?
No. I get it. Like, I understand it.
I don't think you do.
Like, it's Joe's either Alice's or he isn't. Like, there's no... So, anyway, that's what I'm most excited about. I think it's going to be great, man. Fired up. 12-0, baby. Let's go. 12-0. Playoff time. Here we go. All
right, so the ESPN FPI, the Football Percentage Index... They've released LSU's win probability for every game so far this year, as of now.
Okay.
They have LSU with a better than 50% chance of winning every game.
Okay.
Except one.
Yeah, I mean, I know which one that is. But I feel good about it. I think this is the best shot this team's had in a long time. I think it's going to happen.
I think 2016 was an awesome chance. You had Brandon Harris back. We were kind of convinced. No, I know. But in 2015, remember, they were undefeated, and then they fell apart in November. And then 16 came along, and you had Harris. You had Fournette and Geis and Darrell Williams. You had Traven Durrell and Malachi Dupree. as your receivers, and Russell Gage for that matter. You had fifth-year seniors along the defensive line with Christian Lockature and Greg Gilmore and Frank Herron. And then you also had Beckwith. You had Kendall Beckwith and Duke Riley were senior linebackers, not to mention Jamal Adams and Tre'Davious White, who both became first-round draft picks. Like 2016, you were loaded.
They were good players. Mm-hmm.
You were loaded.
Yeah.
And, they peed on themselves against Wisconsin and Lambeau, then lost to Auburn, and then Les got fired, which was unfortunate. But my point is you've had talented teams that haven't, lived up to the expectation. I think this is a very talented team. I've said that I think they're going to go 10-2. So ESPN's FPI gives LSU just a 25% chance of beating Alabama. But here's the other ones that I think are interesting. LSU has a 74.4% chance of winning at Texas, according to FPI. That means they are giving LSU a better percent chance of winning at Texas, going on the road and winning, than winning at home against Florida, Auburn, or Texas A&M.
Correct. Yeah.
That's stunning to me.
Texas hasn't done anything like that. I don't understand why everybody has circled this game as being like a big game. Like
they beat Georgia last year.
Bowl game, Georgia didn't really want to be there. Like they
beat Oklahoma last year.
Same thing. Oklahoma stunk last year. They weren't any good.
Their coach is 13-2 against the spread as an underdog as a head coach. He's won 10 of those outright
in games with the temperature 50 degrees below. Like, who cares? Come on, they're not any good. Oklahoma's not any good. They play in a weak conference. Yeah, okay, I get it. They won some games. They play in a weak conference. Texas is not back. I actually agree with it, and I think it's going to be a 2-score spread. I mean, I think LSU wins by 14.
I think that's going to be a very close game. Not to get into, like, predicting the games already at this point in the season, but I think the Texas game is going to be very close. They have a veteran quarterback. It's on the road. Their coach has a phenomenal record against the spread as an underdog and 10 wins straight up as an underdog. I think that's going to be a very close game. I think LSU wins it, but I think it's going to be closer than LSU fans are pegging it. Oddly, the road game at Mississippi State, LSU with a 65% chance of winning. So, like, the FPI is looking at that Mississippi State game as the toughest road, outside of Alabama, as the toughest road game for LSU this year. And that's odd.
Yeah.
New quarterback. State loses 3 starters on the defensive line, including 2 guys that were first-round draft picks. And they lost 3 first-rounders in all. I mean, that's interesting to me that FPI looks at Mississippi State on paper and thinks that they're really a viable foe for LSU.
I mean, it seemed like for years, that the Tigers that was a foregone victory.
Yeah.
And
20 years.
In the last few years, this has turned into more of a rivalry feel for me, at least. I don't know how the players view it, but they've had some studs, man, and they've recruited well. They've done what LSU's kind of doing in Louisiana, where they've put a fence around Mississippi. Now those big guys are either going to Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and with the troubles at Ole Miss, with the probation and all that stuff, State's getting some guys.
Which is over this year, by the way. Ole Miss can go to a bowl game this year.
They're getting guys. They're getting guys that they normally had to fight with Ole Miss, to get. So I agree with that one. The State being a tough game. It scares me.
State whipped LSU in 2014 in Baton Rouge. LSU won there in 15. Although State had a shot at a field goal to win it, to walk off and win it, and missed. LSU beat State in Baton Rouge in 16. Then LSU got whipped in Starkville in 17, and then won a close game in Baton Rouge last year. Well, it was in the muck. I mean, I don't ever feel like it was really LSU was in danger of losing that game. State couldn't move the football, but it was a very ugly game. But I think the bigger thing has been Dan Mullen. Like, Dan Mullen has had LSU's number, really. Beat LSU in Baton Rouge. Those State games were Dan Mullen. And, of course, LSU lost to Florida last year in Gainesville. I mean, Mullen's been the one that's kind of had LSU's number.
Yeah, and listen, if Dan Mullen wasn't coaching in the worst city in America, then he would probably be like
Not a fan of Gainesville, huh?
National title contender.
Not a fan of Gainesville, right?
Wow.
Okay. Brutal. And then so FPI has LSU favored in 11 of their 12 games. And Phil Steele gave Joe Burrow a dark horse Heisman. He listed 6 Heisman candidates that were good Heisman odds. And he listed Joe Burrow at 200-1. So that's your true dark horse. If they get past Bama, his stats are going to be better. He could be the kind of the off-the-radar guy. Each of the last 4 years, the top 2 players entering the season with the best Heisman odds to win it didn't win it.
Right. The fact that he was able to run the ball last year, I think, is really exciting from a national standpoint. We know that there was an injury and he was kind of shut down from doing that, but to show his true athleticism, the Heisman voters, they love the guys that can run and throw and do all that stuff. I think he did that. His toughness that he displayed on a national stage, this guy was just getting hammered throughout the season, kept getting back up. He's a guy you want to root for. And the confidence that he's showing now, the comment that he made about the Manning Passing Academy, where he felt like he can throw with all these guys. I'm just telling you, from a player standpoint, when you put yourself side by side against the dudes that are supposedly the best in the country, and you look around and go, man, you know what? Like I belong here. I mean, that's big to know that you can do it with those guys. And so from a quarterback standpoint, yeah, you got some guys. I mean, Tua is one bad step away from the ankle thing again. Jalen Hurts is going to be running the ball. He's going to get hammered. He's going to get hit. I mean, there's a few guys. I'm putting my money on Joe. I think Burbank Joe's the guy. And, I think he's going to be there at the end for the Heisman. 12-0. If your team is 12-0 undefeated and you're in the playoffs.
But they're not going to be 12-0 undefeated in the playoffs.
I feel like they will be.
But they won't be.
And he's leading the charge, and he's got the blonde hair and
They'll
all
have
that stuff.
a very good season, but not a 12-0 season.
I think they'll be 12-0. And I think Joe's probably going to win the Heisman. And so, yeah, it's going to be. Well, no, I don't bet on the Tigers. You know that.
So. I think that's what I thought.
Well, I just don't bet on the Tigers.
That's what I thought. And for that,
you can bet on something else.
It's now time to kick rocks with Ryan Theriot.
That's right.
Kick rock.
You kick rocks.
You don't get to sit here and talk all your smack in this office.
What are you looking at?
Whatever.
Nobody
kick
does
rocks.
As a matter of fact, the NFL can kick rocks too.
We've
Dwayne
got
from
rocks.
Thibodeau did that.
You know what to do.
In that case, then
Punk owes me
Matt's gonna have to
$500.
kick rocks.
Now let's see if Ryan Theriot
owes me
actually prepared
$5.
for this week's segment.
I'm going to tell myself to kick rocks.
Get on down the road and kick rocks.
I'm going to start. Dwayne from Thibodeau, you can kick rocks. You can still kick rocks, you punk. You owe me $500. And you're lucky we're not back in the olden days. Like if we were in the olden Weston days, I'd have a gun and a holster on my side, and we'd duel in the street.
Meet me at high noon.
At high noon
on Bourbon Street.
That's what I would say.
Yep.
That's what I would say.
You should say that.
On the bayou.
On the bayou. High noon.
That's what it would be. Either that, or if this was like in Rocky, I'd send someone to go break his thumbs and give me my money.
You ought to. Send them.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Hey, the real-life gremlin, Ezekiel Elliott. Like, really legit looks like a gremlin with the mouth and the little teeth and the big hair, and he's short, and, like, the body is kind of... He looks like...
Did that movie scare you as a kid?
Absolutely.
I was terrified of the gremlins.
Yes.
Like, whenever... I'd have nightmares, like... and it was always like a... I was being chased by a gremlin, but my dream was like in a point of view of the gremlin. So like I could see myself running from the gremlin, and it was just like the camera was on top of the gremlin's head.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So Ezekiel Elliott is a real life gremlin. He's making 3
You know that little theme, the Gremlins song?
Do it.
Isn't that it?
I don't remember the song. I just remember the guys were scary.
It was scary, dude. And then in Gremlins 2, the little gremlin that could talk.
They're getting smarter. They're evolving.
How did they kill? Like, they were so little. How did a gremlin kill somebody? You know what I mean? Like, you're so little.
They're savages, bro.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you're so little. It's like, if you're venomous, then I can understand it. If he gets his teeth in you, then you die. But a little gremlin like that, just step on him.
But they used weapons. Like, they used guns and knives, and, like, they were
savages.
They were savages.
But the Mogwais were so cute.
What? I don't know what that is.
Well, the Mogwai was the little furry guy before he became a gremlin. You know, like with the Mogwai ate after dark.
Very cute.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Mogwai ate after dark, or after midnight red. That's how the gremlins became. And you know, he'd have little like pockets grow up on him, and it would shoot up, and that became a gremlin.
Very snuggly.
Yeah, the Mogwais were super cute.
Yeah, they were.
You know.
So anyway, so we have one running the football in Dallas, or at least he was. Ezekiel Elliott's making $3.85 million this season. You know where I'm going with this because this aggravates me so much.
Gizmo. Gizmo was the Mogwai's name. Thank you, Chris Keller.
So Gizmo's running the ball in Dallas.
Oh, Tyler Hale says Zeke looks like an Ewok.
He looks like an Ewok. He does as well.
What do you think? Ewok? Or do you think? I think he's more of an Ewok facially.
I think he is too.
He doesn't look like a gremlin in the face.
That's what
he does look like an Ewok in the face.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
You were looking for Ewok.
I was.
Yeah, that's a good call. Who was that again that said Ewok? Tyler Hales. You get the gold star, Tyler Hales.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Can I go or not?
Go where? Do you need to leave?
Do the kick rocks? Or are you going to keep
Oh,
going?
no, you can go. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Your turn.
All right. So the Ewok is making $3.8 million.
Not a Mogwai.
Not a Mogwai.
Got it.
Running for Dallas this season. This is his 4th year. So Dallas has picked up his 5th year on his contract, okay? His option year. And it's $9 million, okay? But he said he's not going to run the ball unless he gets another contract. He's not playing for Dallas unless he gets another contract. But yet he signed his name on a contract and said, I'm gonna play as long as you pay me this amount of money. And so he signed his name and he said Ezekiel Elliott. And so he has a contract that's binding and he's supposed to honor that contract. But now he wants to break that contract because he thinks that he's worth more than he's getting paid, but yet he's an ACL away from just being another guy. And so Ezekiel Elliott can kick rocks for not honoring the contract in which he signed that's going to pay him $13 million over the next 2 years. Kick rocks.
You know what's interesting about that? We kind of have entered this little age in sports now where it seems like that's just all the rage. Guys don't want to play out their contracts. It is strange. But then again, the flip side of it is, what if the team just wants to cut the guy? They're not honoring the contract either.
But the team is the one paying the guy.
I get it.
Like so they could do that, I guess, technically. Anyway, I don't know how much that money's guaranteed, but he can kick rocks.
Okay.
Bad look. Staying on the NFL train, J.J. Watt, who I love J.J. Watt, I think he's a great player, decided to take a fan's bike during training camp yesterday and ride around the field. So he's riding the guy's bike. J.J. Watt, though, is like 280-something pounds.
Yeah.
So he hops on this kid's bike, and he breaks the kid's bike.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, J.J. Watt, kick rocks. You're fat. And it was a little kid bike.
Yeah.
Still with the Texans, and I love this story. I think it's great. Texans rookie Lonnie Johnson Jr. You know who that is? Second-round pick?
Yeah.
I didn't either until I read the story. So Lonnie Johnson Jr. during non-tackling drills at practice, not once but twice, absolutely destroyed guys and got kicked out of practice.
Yeah, but it was a non-tackling drill.
Yeah, and but he didn't care. He was going to hit the guy anyway.
Right, but
Yeah.
it's a non-tackling drill. You can't go blow people up in a non-tackling drill.
You can't do
He's
that.
got to go.
He's got to go.
Yeah.
Lonnie, kick rocks. Like, you're not a tough guy for that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you done?
Yep.
I got to tell the Marlins to kick rocks. Well, one Marlins social media intern. You heard about it?
I did.
The Tampa Bay Rays tweeted at the Marlins, "Here's the broom we just used on you so you can clean them up." The Marlins official Twitter replied, "You're literally the animal that killed Steve Irwin. Log off." Steve Irwin was the crocodile hunter, right?
Not cool, bro.
Who died. He got stabbed in the heart by a stingray.
Not cool.
Well, it was not cool at all. And the Marlins did, in fact, apologize via statement. Said that
whoever's running the account's been fired.
Well, they said it's been handled. It was a social media intern, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like their guy. But you know what? A couple weeks ago, I had Alex Restrepo on the show. He's the guy who handles the Saints and Pelicans social media account. So he is like at Saints, at Pelicans. And I asked him that. I'm like, any regrets? Because, man, it's one of those things where you hit send and it feels like a good idea. And no matter how many times you retweet it, there's always that one where you might go, God, why did I? And this is kind of that one. By the way, so the Marlins issued a statement. This was a regrettable exchange by our otherwise creative social media team. So not intern, team. Unfortunately, in this medium, sometimes we swing and miss, and this was definitely a miss. The spokesman said, quote, "The matter has been addressed internally." So I don't know if anybody got fired, but it was their social media team. Boy, that's
a bad look. Yeah,
it is, man.
Would you ever let an intern handle your social media account?
It wasn't an intern, so it was their team. That was the point. I misspoke saying intern.
Okay.
But here's my question though. Like, I do have a. At what point is it okay to make references about a death or a tragedy that become funny? And you could say, well, never. Well, that's actually not true because people reference the Titanic now.
They do.
Like the Titanic becomes sort of a cliched reference. You know what?
It's
is it a length of time?
Yeah,
like,
I think. Yeah,
do you know you know the saying as well? Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's a phrase that people will use in reference when someone tries to say, well, like all that happened was I broke my leg. You know, well, that's the most significant thing, right?
I think you got like 10 years, 10 or 15 years.
I don't know that you can just put a blanket like. If you try to make like 9/11's been 18 years,
you can't.
Nobody's joking about.
Yeah, no, you can't joke about. That.
It's like.
But can you ever joke about that?
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. So. Like, how? Yeah. Where do we draw that line? Like, Lincoln was. I'm not saying we're joking about Abraham Lincoln, but it's something that's referenced and in terms that's certainly non. Without a lot of couth.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No,
respect.
I agree.
It's like, could you imagine talking about the assassination of a world leader, or like Dr. King, or I could, and that's been more than half a century. Like, I can't even imagine ever joke. You know what I mean? But in some instances, like, it's weird that it becomes okay.
I think when it's like the Titanic is not an individual that you're talking about. You're talking about
a lot of people died. Well, neither is like 9/11. You know, it's so weird. Like and you can tell there's something I've actually thought about. Like, how do we societally determine what's acceptable in terms of it?
Like, who gets to make that
right?
call?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's from the person that says it. Like, the initial delivery and how it's delivered probably has a lot to do with it.
I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like no one is ever going to joke about the Holocaust. Or Hitler. Like, if you say, it's almost like if you say the name Hitler, like, people get in trouble with that. So you just got you got to be so careful. If there's some people are probably just joining us live now, like, what in the world are they talking about? But the Marlins Twitter referencing Steve Irwin's death. Anyway. So I guess the rule that I always, or the standard I always hold myself to, is just don't ever say anything.
You can't
ever. Just never. Like 0% of the time can you say stuff like that.
It's not worth the risk that you're putting yourself out there. Ain't worth it.
All right. We're going to get to Ask Us here in a bit. So if you're listening to the podcast, this won't make any sense. But for those watching live on Facebook Live, we record every Tuesday, noon Central, on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. We'll do Ask Us, so you can ask us anything about anything. Get your questions in, line them up. Tell people about Jonna Theriot Realty.
Rocking and rolling. Jonna Theriot, the real estate agent, my beautiful bride. You can go check her out at jonna.agent225.com or email at jonnarealtor@gmail.com. She is flying. There's a beautiful house, actually. She's just listed in Settlement at Willow Grove that I'm a big fan of, and I'm trying to convince her to buy it.
Oh.
I would like it.
You want to move?
Yeah, I like the house.
You're going to move?
I would like to move.
Oh.
I do that.
Okay.
We like to move. Yeah. So... for all your real estate needs, nobody's going to work harder. Jonna.agent225.com.
Jonna.agent225.com. Check out the Facebook page as well. And I'll remind you about our friends over at Ascension Fence and Deck. Jeff and the gang, they do awesome work. They actually just built a mesh fence for us. We got the pool at the house. Got the pool at the house, and Drew's gotten much more confident this year. He's learning to swim.
Pawpaw.
Yeah, Pawpaw's taught him how to swim. So we had to give us some peace of mind if he ever got outside. So mesh fence around the pool, actually like around the patio. So if he gets out the back door, he can't get out that mesh fence. So that's another layer of security that gives us peace of mind as well. But if it's mesh fence, if it's aluminum, if it's wood, they do decks and awnings and all different kind of stuff, man. Outdoor kitchens,
pool house,
all
that.
All of it. Ascension Fence and Deck, 268-9459, 268-9459. Or ascensionfenceanddeck.com. They probably won't be the cheapest. So if you're just shopping price, you probably find somebody who will build you a fence cheaper. But as far as the quality, the level of service provided, it's unmatched. Jeff and his team do awesome work. So y'all give them a buzz. 268-9459 or ascensionfenceanddeck.com. We'll get to Ask Us here in just a quick second. I got to know, did you see the story about Alex Bregman potentially being traded?
No, I did not.
So Detroit Free Press had a report citing sources that 2 years ago, the Tigers had rejected 2 deals for Michael Fulmer. So Michael Fulmer had a great season 2 years ago. He's at Tommy John. He's on the shelf. But 2 years ago, there was a 3-team deal that would have brought Javi Baez from the Cubs to Detroit.
Okay, he's good.
turned it down.
They didn't want Javi Baez.
Turn it down.
Okay.
Kept Michael Fulmer. There was another deal that would have sent Alex Bregman and a prospect to Detroit for Fulmer.
And they didn't want that one either.
They turned that down as well.
Yeah, they wanted to hold on to Fulmer, who hasn't pitched
right
at all since then. And that's why the Tigers stink. That's why Detroit stinks, the whole deal. You have to have a little foresight there.
So the story doesn't really end there because MLB Trade Rumors tweeted that the Tigers were offered Baez and Bregman in 2017, to which Bregman replied on Twitter, "Nah, false." So I don't know, man. Like, you helped me. You were traded.
I was.
Is it possible that you could have been involved in a trade scenario and just you didn't know about it?
Sure, absolutely. Especially at that point in Alex's career, you wouldn't be privy to a ton of that information and what's going on with the GMs and ownership and all that stuff. Like, for instance, when I was traded in 2010, I was actually told 2 weeks prior to being traded that I had nothing to worry about and there's no way I was going to get moved.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that all go down then?
Well, I was going to buy a house in Lakeview, and I didn't want to buy the house if there was a chance that I would be traded. So I went
Lakeview in New Orleans?
In Chicago.
Oh,
yeah. And so
I was like, why would you go to Lakeview in New Orleans? Okay, Lakeview's in Chicago. I didn't know that. Okay.
So I went to management and said, hey, guys, I'm thinking about doing this. But again, I don't want to take this chance if I may be traded. Just assured that I wouldn't be moved. And so we bought the house and furnished the house and all that stuff. And then I actually found out by watching ESPN, the bottom line, I'm laughing at all the guys getting traded. And then my name pops up. We were in Colorado on a road trip. And my name popped up that I was traded. So that's how that works. And truthfully, I'm not saying this to throw jabs at Chicago. They probably had no intention of moving me at all, but an opportunity arose, and was what it was.
So then, how do you handle that as a team? Do you just be nondescript with the player? Like, is that what you, as a player, is that what you would rather?
I would rather have them said, we're not sure, man. Like, anything could happen.
Anything
would have
could
been
happen.
better.
Right. Yeah.
Than no, you're good. All that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be careful because, and I think you and I have talked about this before, I mean, there's just so much more that goes into it than just the player. Like, I'm on a road trip, left the kids, I think went back to Baton Rouge, just my wife and I went to this road trip. So, logistically, now we got to figure out how to go get the kids, or the kids fly out to us and go pack up the house in Chicago and then move that stuff to Baton Rouge and ship the cars to L.A. and then get a house in L.A. So, I mean, there's just so much movement that goes on. It's tough, man.
All right, we're going to get to Ask Ryan. Or Ask Us. If you're new to the show, this is easy. You ask us anything about anything, and we'll answer your questions. It can be sports-related. It doesn't have to be sports-related. Sometimes it's really nonsensical and fun. And sometimes those are actually the best questions. So
12-0, baby. 12-0.
Okay. If you're on Facebook Live here, get your questions in. Hashtag Ask Us. Fire away. A couple of things. First of all, Tyler Hale says Rose in Titanic, she was an affluent tramp. I don't think she was an affluent tramp.
So rude,
I think her
man.
mother was an affluent tramp. I think Rose was trying to break free
She was.
of that affluency. She could have married, what was the guy's name? Billy. What's his name? Billy, the actor?
The kid?
No.
Not Billy the Kid?
No. Someone will say it. Chris Keller, ask us, do you think Team Louisiana Little League will make it to the championship in Williamsport, PA?
Man, that would be great. I think they play in the finals tonight. I've been following this.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah,
I someone who's a dad on the team sent me an Instagram private message with a link. It was like, hey, man, show us some love. And I'm like, I had no idea.
So Daniel Cabrera's nephew is on that team, Curtis, Jay Curtis's son.
Okay.
Who's a coach over at John Curtis. So Daniel and I have been talking, hit a little bit yesterday. So they're all fired up, and I'm on it. I'm watching it. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Shelby asked us, would you rather be the ball carrier against Ray Lewis or have to tackle Bo Jackson one-on-one? This is easy for me.
Tackle Bo Jackson, because I would just shoot the legs. I don't want Ray Lewis getting a full head of steam and hitting. If I'm trying to tackle Bo, I'm just going straight for the ankles, and if I stay real low, he can't get underneath me.
Okay, number one, there's no chance you get Bo Jackson to the ground.
That's fine. I can't. She didn't say anything about tackling.
I would take the Ray Lewis situation because I would just get down.
Just fall.
One of the best lessons, I think, that I've referenced this before, but Warwick Dunn wrote a book, Running for My Life. Great. If you like sports or not, great book. I would recommend anybody go read it. He said one of the things that I've always remembered from that book, he said one of the reasons I was able to last so long in the NFL at 5'8", 180 pounds was I always learned live to the next down.
Mm-hmm.
Get down. Like, he never let big guys size him up and land a big shot on him. So he was willing to make a guy miss and get out of bounds or get down. Like, he just wouldn't take the big hit. I mean, it's a completely different mindset when you look back to like Earl Campbell or Larry Zonka or guys from a different era that can't even walk anymore.
Different body types too.
No
right?
doubt, but it's also how the game was played and how it's transitioned. I think Alvin Kamara's like that. I mean, learn to get down.
So assuming you had to take the hit or you had to deliver the blow, like you have to run and you can't get down.
I'm still going Ray
He's
Lewis.
going to hit you.
I'm still going Ray
Really?
Lewis. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't want any chance of Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson is, in my opinion, the greatest physical freak we've ever seen in our lifetime. So I don't want that guy with a full head of steam coming at me. No, like as a freshman in college, one of the most famous plays in college football is Bo Jackson trucking the dude from Tennessee. I mean, he stepped on his face with a hobnail boot. I mean, as a freshman. I mean, no thanks. I mean, I understand who Ray Lewis is. I'm not minimizing who he is, what he, but I don't want to Bo Jackson. Ask us, did you see Diaz for the Marlins get his first homer while his parents were being interviewed?
What an amazing moment. I did. You and I spoke about that earlier. I don't know if we have audio or video of that. But that was, I started to tear up a little bit just because the pride that guy has in his child, and then, hits the homer, starts screaming. It's so real and raw, and watching that unfold, man, what a cool moment.
Tyler Hales asked us, what are your thoughts on Des Bryant stating the Saints have first dibs on him? Who cares? Nobody's signing Des Bryant.
Dez is coming back, baby, and I can't wait.
Whatever. Craig Duga asked us, any interest in taking a double or nothing bet from Dwayne this season? No, because he's not going to pay.
Yeah, we're off Dwayne.
Like, if he's not going to pay $5, why would he pay $1,000?
It's true.
No thanks. Ask us, best bait for bass fishing? Typically do saltwater, a little rusty on freshwater.
Look, I'm a Yamamoto plastic worm would be what I do on the bottom. You can Carolina rig it, or you can rig it just regular with the bullet weight. But I'm a soft plastics guy myself.
Billy Zane was the character. His name was Cal. Was his character's name. Thank you, Josh Long, by the way. Ricky Compton asked Ryan, last one. You are the new host of the morning show. You have to pick 2 co-hosts. Name them.
I don't know. That's tough. Maybe Rohan. I think he'd be funny, especially early in the morning.
Hi, Ryan.
What?
Hi.
You have your own show. You can't be a co-host.
Why not? This is a hypothetical world.
Oh, well, if that's the case, you and I would do it. Yeah, I didn't think you were involved in this.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm sorry.
What I thought, yeah.
My bad. Maybe you. I
brought you into this world.
I know. I still need another
brought you
one.
into this world. I can take you out.
Let's go.
You know when parents say that?
We need one more.
I brought you in this world.
Yeah. Kevin Franklin. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Done.
Yep.
All right. No, real quick. 2 more. Last 2. Chris Keller asked Ryan, where would you take Mrs. Benson on a date?
Probably Ryan's Family Steakhouse.
Ask us, is it 1,000% digital that the LSU offense will break out this year?
Absolutely. Well said.
It's way too many inside jokes to explain. Suffice to say, Theriot says everything 1,000% is his default, and then digital we tried to explain earlier, which just doesn't make sense at all. All right, that's going to do it for us. Paul O'Neill, thanks. You're the man. Please subscribe to the podcast. Share this on Facebook if you've not done so yet. Please hit the share button. We appreciate it. Every Tuesday, noon. And by the way, if you have a company that wants to advertise on the Riot Podcast, hit us up.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. Riot Podcast.
Garcia did my